So hello fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728. And were the cheaters on the TV show Cheaters really cheating? I asked this because I feel like sometimes maybe they weren't, kind of. So I am Earthling 64 yada yada yada. Currently studying Korean and mathematics on my own using MIT's open courseware something, and I already have 2 degrees on my own, an MBA and a computer science degree. I've done some computer programs that I'm really proud of that exist out there, real estate stuff for government entities, accounting stuff, custom software. I've lost a bunch of weight. I quit smoking. I kept that weight off for 5 years. I think it's more than that. And smoking, I've stopped smoking for more than 5 years. And I have some military reservist experience. So that's me. Anyway, were the cheaters on the TV show Cheaters really cheating? So I was listening to Matthew Hussey. He is a relationship coach for women. And he was talking about his own relationship that he had, where somebody did something, his mate or his partner, and he thought, that's too much. I'm going to break up with this person. And when he broached the subject with the person that, hey, he wanted to break up with them, he realized, whoa, as he was saying, it wasn't that he was really breaking up with them. They did that because they wanted to force his hand. So they didn't really care that he was breaking up with them. So it makes me wonder if that was the situation in many of these episodes on Cheaters. And it's not to say that, okay, they were cheating to force the person's hand. But I notice in a lot of the episodes that the person was often becoming more and more distant, not spending that much time with the other person. Sometimes it'd be a long time since they had seen the other person. And there were many indications that would be there for the person who suspects that their partner is cheating should take to mean that they're no longer interested in you. I mean, yeah, it would be really cool if the other person would just come right out and say that, hey, I don't want to see you anymore. But as far as we know, the person may have tried. Maybe they had tried before to start that conversation where they weren't interested in maintaining a relationship. And the other person was just kind of like, I don't know. And they just felt like they were being forced to continue the relationship, even if they didn't really want to, and they didn't want to put their foot down. Basically, they were afraid of confrontation. They didn't want to have to deal with that. I personally know a guy who is like that. He, as far as I know, I don't know his relationships in detail, but I remember one conversation, or what he said that his girlfriend said was that, you didn't think that just because I was moving back to Japan that we would be breaking up, did you? And he apparently didn't want to just say, yeah, I did. So he is really non-confrontational, and I guess that's, that can happen. It's not nice, it's not cool, but there are a lot of people who might be like that. And I can attest to the fact that I was in a relationship with someone who clearly had no interest in continuing the relationship with me because, I guess because of an argument that we had where, I don't want to go into that, but the whole point was that when I said, I think we should probably end this now, they were like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. And I was saying that because they weren't willing to come and see me. It was a long time since I had seen them. I think it was. But basically, I was just frustrated. They were actually, at the time when I spoke to them over the phone, they were to me, this was too much. They were hanging around someone who really liked them, and they were just being too familiar with that person. And were they really cheating? Maybe from their point of view, it wasn't really cheating, because as far as they're concerned, mentally, even though they would not have spoken to me about it, but they were already kind of broken up or already on the way out. So again, it's just, they thought, as far as they were concerned, it really was a situation where they were in a relationship officially, but not really. And, beyond that TV show Cheaters, beyond, I think Matthew Hussey is the guy's name, beyond me, I've heard of other YouTubers who, this guy, I think his name is Chubby Emu, that's the name of his channel. And he was recounting the story of, I guess, something similar to what happened to me, is that he had a relationship. He wanted to do something, like have another person on the channel or in a video. His partner was like, no, you can't have this other girl because people are going to think that that's your girlfriend. And he's like, well, I don't think so. But he never did it. He never went ahead and had the other person on because of what his girlfriend said. But still, his girlfriend started acting like very intimately, or very, I don't want to have any word that condemns people. People can do whatever they want, but in a way that he would not have been comfortable with in front of other guys, with other guys in front of him. And when he called them out on it, they said he was being jealous, until the point where she actually made out with this other guy in front of him. And then she proceeded to tell him that she thought that it was time for him to go home by himself, I guess. And he said he was really angry, and he didn't want to, I guess, have a fight or anything like that with the guy or with her. And I guess that was the end of it. I can't remember the exact details, but it seems that she clearly, I don't know, even when he was like, thinking, okay, well, the girl, I guess she didn't have a good enough reason, and she felt like she couldn't just say, I want to break up with you. Or maybe she just wanted to torture him. Or who knows. But emotionally, obviously, as far as she was concerned, to do something like that in front of your boyfriend, you really don't care about them anymore. And if you don't care about them and you don't really love them anymore, then your relationship is really kind of over. And I mean, if you look at something like Kevin Hart's cheating incident, for example, that's clearly cheating, because he was not trying to break up with his wife, who was pregnant with his kid at the same time. This was, he was supposed to be or happily married. His wife looks great. I don't know what's going on with them individually, but the extent that he went to afterwards, going on different talk shows and talking about it, and saying that, he begged for forgiveness, and he told it will never happen again, and he learned from his different mistakes, and he's trying to spend more time with his family, and is clearly different from the situation how he ended up with his current wife, which is that, his former wife called her out, his current wife out, and said, like, maybe she was a homewrecker or something like that. And he was like, no, no, no. We were already doing badly, and, we were already on the rocks. The relationship was already over. Maybe that's true, but it wasn't over, where you say, like, I want a divorce, let's separate. Well, maybe it was, but I don't know that he would have to explain that if they were separated or if they were filing for divorce. I mean, that would be... So anyway, a lot of people like to swing from vine to vine. So they're holding on to the last vine, and they're only going to let go of it when they have a good, strong hold on the next vine. So there's that too. But I feel like, well, maybe it's, the thing that the Cheaters show spans a variety of different types of relationships. But invariably, especially for the ones where the people are not married, a lot of times it's a scenario where somebody could see that something is going on. And I mean, you think about it. Why would you call cheaters? You would call cheaters because you have a suspicion. And your suspicion probably comes around in the form of not just that the person is, doing things that are necessarily suspicious. It might be because the person is pulling away from you and they don't want to just come out and end the relationship there and then. But I think for people who, and maybe I might be completely wrong about this, but I think as one becomes more relationship savvy, one would become aware that at a sooner time, it wouldn't take as long, it wouldn't take as much effort, or one would not be oblivious to the fact that one's girlfriend or partner or boyfriend doesn't seem to be as interested in the relationship as they were before. And if you're trying to you're trying to improve the relationship and the other person isn't interested, then even if they aren't cheating, maybe you should decide definitively to end it and to go to another relationship with which you are happier. And I know that is many times easier said than done. I remember with respect to Stephen Hawking, after he and his wife, actually it wasn't a case of him and his wife separating, I guess based on a movie which had some credibility, I think. The fact is that Stephen Hawking could tell that his wife might have had an attraction to this other guy, and he felt guilty that he had, in a way, at least maybe that's just the way that he felt, that he had trapped her in this relationship that was not a normal relationship, where she just had to take care of him as he got worse and worse. And of course, in the beginning, love conquers all, and they even had kids. But as another woman came on the scene who seemed to want to help, he was like, okay, you go and have a decent life with this other person, and I'll be with this person who seems to want to take care of me. As it happened, people would ask him afterwards with respect to the new person, this person seems like they might be using you, everything might not be on the up and up, and he was reluctant to do anything about it, because I think he might have communicated the fact that when you're in a situation like him, people who can help you in your situation, people who can take care of you, they're not exactly dropping from the sky, or even if they are, you may not feel, you have so much to lose, basically, at the end of the day. where you can't even communicate with the outside world. You can't communicate easily and flexibly. It would be so difficult if things were wrong, it would be very easy for someone to take advantage. So I can see situations that people might be in where they might feel that even though they're not interested in the other person, maybe just from an emotional point of view, that they can't just move on, and they may decide to cheat to be emotionally satisfied or something. I don't know. But I think that many of the cheaters on Cheaters might make the argument that they might not have been exactly cheating because they felt like they weren't really in a relationship or something like that. Anyway, that's me. Feel free to like, dislike, comment, subscribe, share, any of those things, none of those things. But keep in mind, please act as if this was something that you did and what you'd like people to do to react to you. Thanks. Peace.